Hey, what's going on? Ryan here with Intersection Records, and we're finally ranking Judas Priest's discography, all 19 records. I am doing the Tim Ripper Owens records. We're doing just studio albums, 19 of them by the great metal gods, Judas Priest, and they're all good. This is going to be a long video. We're going to get right into it. And I'm going to basically go from what I would choose to pick and listen to, from my least favorite, my least likely to grab it and listen to it, to my most likely. And we're going to get started right away. And maybe this comes to no surprise, but 2008's Nostradamus. They decided to come back. They do a great album in 2005, Angel of Retribution. 3 years later, the last album with KK Downing is a 102-minute double album, Nostradamus, and produced by Tipton and Downing, about the 16th century writer Nostradamus, 23 tracks. It plays out like a concept album, obviously. Pretty cool cover, though. I just don't like it, and it sucks that that's the way that KK went out, but you know, there's tracks, there's little partial tracks that bleed in other things. Nothing really stands out. So that's coming in at 19. Coming in at 18 is Demolition, the second album after Tim Ripper Owens comes in. So Halford leaves in 92. He doesn't come back till 04. Tim Ripper Owens is brought in. He's an American from, I think, Cleveland. They find him on somebody had a tape of somebody in a cover band. This is the second album. It's their only album to have a parental guidance advisory label on it. Machine Man is the first song. Pretty cool opener. Says the F-bomb in it. Bloodsuckers is kind of cool. They try to do ballads. You know, Priest always has great ballads. Lost and Found's no good. Metal Messiah is okay. Feed on Me is kind of a cool, it sounds like Dio era Sabbath. Coming in at 17. Some people are going to say no to this. Turbo. You know, Tom Ullman is in the producing chair. This came out in the spring of 86. It's their 10th record. You know, just sounds like they're going for some commercial stuff. Turbo Lovers, beginning sounds a little bit like Green Manalishi. Private Property is kind of a cool song. Out in the Cold, I like. Mid-paced rocker, Reckless, I like. But in general, you know, there's some keyboards on here. I don't care for this record. And that's why it's coming in at 17. At 16, though, the first album with Tim Ripper Owens. This came out in October of 97. You can see that the Judas Priest script is different, too. You know, this is a pretty damn good record, actually. I mean, Jugulator, the opening song is awesome. Insane drumming by Scott Travis. Bloodstained is really cool. It would be sick if Rob sang it. Death Row, brutally heavy. Burn in Hell, creepy, sinister, plotting. Abductors, love it. Bullet Train Killer. This is a freaking really good album. And I don't think it gets the credit that it deserves. The next album is the first album to feature Richie Faulkner, who replaces KK Downing, and it's got an amazing cover as well. But it's my 15th Judas Priest album in the ranking, Redeemer of Souls. This came out in the summer of 2014. It's a cool record, you know, dragging out the opening track, pretty awesome. March of the Damned, heavy, biting, blooded, probably my favorite track on the album. Again, Redeemer of Souls. You know, Richie's coming in. I don't think that they're necessarily letting Richie completely unleash. And you have to gel as a band also. Battle Cry is cool. Beginning of the End. Secrets of the Dead. Just evil sounding. Number 15, Redeemer of Souls. Coming then in at 14 is the first album back with Rob Halford. The 52-minute Angel of Retribution. This is an awesome record. Judas Rising opens it up, right? Roy Z produced it. It's their 15th album. It's my 14th in the ranking. Deal with the Devil's Killer. Worth Fighting For is kind of anthemic in that, Priest has some anthems, right? Wheels of Fire, grungy, raw. If it ain't broke, why fix it? We're back with Rob. We got the classic lineup, if you will, if you consider Scott Travis to be the classic drummer. Angel is a ballad and a long list of Priest ballads. Now let's get into some records here that are my tops. The 13th record is their 7th record, Point of Entry. Point of Entry is a cool record. Head Out to the Highway, right? Everybody loves that song. Picking up kind of where British Steel, this is the album after British Steel. It came out in 81. Really dig that. But then you have 3 songs in a row that just take the pace off. So you go Head Out on the Highway, killer. Don't Go, Hot Rockin', Turning Circles, just Judas Priest by numbers. We then get to the Desert Plains, which is kind of a mid-tempo classic, atmospheric, On the Run. Troubleshooter reminds me of Out to Get Me by Guns N' Roses on their first album. Solar Angels is pretty cool. Again, this is sandwiched between 2 classics, right? British Steel before it and Screaming for Vengeance next. That's why it comes in at 13. Coming in, though, at 12 is Ram It Down. Cool album cover, right? This is their 11th album. It's my 12th in the ranking. Tom Ullman's producing. This comes out in May of 88. It went gold. It's 49 minutes. Ram It Down. Killer. There's some drum machines on this record. Drummer's about to leave them. Dave Holland. Come and Get It's a cool song. Hard as Iron is a blistering killer late 80s Priest classic. Blood Red Skies, wow, another great ballad. Rob's falsetto is insane. They played that on the Epitaph tour. They do a cover of Johnny Be Good, and we don't really need that, do we? For the movie Johnny Be Good with Michael Anthony Hall. I don't know. That's why it comes in where it is. Now we're going to go with the debut, Rock-A-Rolla. This is the 50th anniversary. Look at that. You can see the water glistening. This is the 50th anniversary release. And by the way, if you haven't listened to this since it's been remastered on the 50th anniversary, you really need to. It's coming in at 11 for me. One for the road. This came out in 74, in September of 74. Roger Bain, who did the first 3 Sabbath albums, produces it. The band got together in 69. Al Atkins was the original lead singer. He gets some writing credits here. Ultimately, Rob Halford obviously takes over. KK Downing is the only original member that's on this record. Rock-A-Roll, the title track's cool. Winter is a song with that's written by Ian Hill, KK Downing, and Al Atkins. Short but powerful. Cheater is a cool song. A little bit thinner sound. Like, they don't quite have their sound yet, but the remastered version, and again, this thing is awesome with the band on the back like that. Dying to Meet You, Caviar and Mess also gets an Atkins writing credit. Run of the Mill, Never Satisfied. Atkins and Downing wrote that. So pretty cool that Atkins does get to celebrate a little bit of the writing credits, and he'll be on the next album. We'll get to there later. Coming in for me, though, at number 10, and some people will be surprised that Painkiller charts this low for me. This is an awesome record, right? So you have Turbo in 86. You have Ram It Down in 88. These albums explore some commercial sounds, some keyboard sounds, and you get right to the metal again with this thing. The song Painkiller itself, the opening track, one of the great Priest songs of all time. This came out in September of 90. It would be Rob would leave in 92, so this would be the last album for Rob until 05. Hell Patrol is killer. Nightcrawler, Between the Hammer and the Anvil. One Shot of Glory is my favorite song on the album. A song on the expanded edition, not on the vinyl, is Living Bad Dreams. I love it. Leather Rebel is pretty cool. All Guns Blazing. All Guns Blazing! What a cover. That's my number 10. Coming in at 9 is their most recent record, and that is going to be this bad boy, Invisible Shield. And by the way, I wish this was the cover of it, that dude on there, instead of this. Now, this looks way cooler in person than it does when you look on the internet. There's some pretty sweet stuff inside here. This thing is awesome. Panic Attack is incredible. One of the best Priest songs. This came out in March of 24. Andy Sneap, who plays guitar along with Richie now live. It's 52 minutes. It's coming in at 8 for me. Serpent and the King is one of my favorite modern Priest songs. Invisible Shield is a top track. Devil in the Skies is dope. Gates of Hell is killer. Crown of Horns. Heavy is the crown of horns on my head. He's wearing the crown of horns because he's bringing that the metal into the new generation and carrying it as the patron saint of metal. As God Is My Witness, Sons of Heather, Giants in the Sky. This is awesome. But what's better than that, and is the album that came just before that, Firepower. Again, kind of a cool cover. Firepower it's my 7th favorite Priest album. Tom Ullman and Andy Sneap producing 58 minutes. This came out in 18, March of 18. Firepower, immediately an upgrade from Redeemers of Soul, which came out in 14. We talked about that already. Lightning Strikes is a Titanic riff. Evil Never Dies. Love the pre-chorus. Love the chorus. Evil vocals by Halford. Halford sounds so much better on Invisible, Shield, and Firepower than he does on Redeemer and Souls. In my opinion, Children of the Sun is incredible. Love the middle 8th kind of bridge part. Light and Shade. Rising from Ruins is crushing. Flamethrower is one of the best Priest songs in modern Priest. And I'm going to do my top 15 Judas Priest songs. By the way, subscribe to the channel if you like this content. We talk about great music every day here. Spectre is awesome. Trader's Gates is strong. Richie is so good on these records. Richie Faulkner. You know, it sucks that KK's not there. Man, does Richie take over. And if you haven't seen them live, I haven't seen them live since the Redeemer of Souls tour. But I've seen Richie a couple times on that tour. You need to see him. And Lone Wolf's another great song. That's my number 7. Now we're getting obviously into just straight up classics like Defenders of the Faith. This is going to come in at 6 for me. What a cool record cover that is. That kind of machine. Their 9th record. This came out in January of 84. Defenders of the Faith. Again, Tom Ullman produces. Freewheel Burnin'. Let's Go. Priest at its best. Rougher Edge. Scorcher. This comes off after Rock Hard, Ride Free, another one. Jawbreaker's not my favorite song. The Sentinel, though, the last song on the first side, one of the best Priest songs of all time. The second side's a little bit weaker. Love Bites is just okay. Eat Me Alive, okay. But Some Heads Are Gonna Roll, which is a cover, a Bob Halligan Jr. cover. I love Some Heads Are Gonna Roll. Some heads are gonna roll. Night Comes Down. Nice ballad. Heavy Duty and Defenders of the Faith. That's why this is coming in at 6. And now we're in the top 5. We're in the upper echelon of Judas Priest records. And we're going to come with Killing Machine. Some people call it Hellbent for Leather. I think it was called Hellbent for Leather in the United States and Killing Machine in Europe, or vice versa. I don't know. It's their 5th record. 35-minute record. Came out in November of 78. You got Delivering the Goods here. Just top shelf Priest. Rock Forever is strong. Hellbent for Leather is a classic. Evening Star is a little weak. They're going for some commercial stuff here. Take on the World. I hate the chorus in that song. Burning Up is kind of a funky song, starts side 2. They cover Fleetwood Mac's Green Manalishi. Here, very cool cover. Killing Machine is next. I Got a Contract on Ya. Awesome. Running Wild. Awesome song, especially the live version on the extended deluxe edition. You wonder if Iron Maiden gets Running Free from Running Wild. And Before the Dawn, we're going to do a show on Judas Priest ballads. I love Before the Dawn. Sometimes I wonder if it could have been sang in like Latin, and Rob's voice is so good. And then Evil Fantasies. Great record. You know, this is not in my ranking, but Unleashed in the East is an absolutely killer and must-have live album that came out after Killing Machine. Just to show that. We're now talking about top 5 Priest albums. We're into top 5, and that's where Sad Wings of Destiny comes. This is their second record. Rock and Roll is the first record. Max West and Jeffrey Calvert produced this. This comes out in March of 76. Right? There's the guys. And that awesome cover. I mean, Victim of Changes. Again, Al Atkins actually gets a writing credit because some of the melodies are based on a song called Whiskey Woman that he wrote back in like 1969. Obviously, Rob Halford, KK Downing, and Tipton get the other credits. One of the best songs in the history of metal is Victim of Changes. It's an absolute epic. The Ripper, same can be said. I love that song. Dreamer, Deceiver. The beginning of a long line of ballads from Rob. His screaming is otherworldly. And then Deceiver, let's absolutely go. Flip it over. You have Prelude. There's a piano intro. First piano, and Glenn Tipton's playing piano. Tyrant's next. Genocide, just straight fire. Priest, the almighty Judas Priest, is alive here on this second record. You can see their insignia is not quite what it would become. Epitaph and more piano, kind of a Queen feel on the vocals, and then Island of Domination. An awesome record. That's why it's coming in at 5 for me. Coming in at 4, and we're at 4, Screaming for Vengeance. Okay. Screaming for Vengeance is just amazing. Came out in July of 82. Tom Allman, again producing. This is their 8th record. It's my 4th. The Hellions, a little 40-second interlude that starts into Electric Eye, which was one of my top Judas Priest songs of all time. The vocals on Electric Eye are unbelievable. Riding the Wind, Energies Abound, Rob's voice again, Bloodstone, just totally killer. I mean, you're getting hit over the head repeatedly by Screaming for Vengeance. Take These Chains. Does anybody like Take These Chains? I wish it wasn't on here. And then Pain and Pleasure. Again, maybe not my favorite track, but then you get the second side and you got Screaming for Vengeance. Amazing track. You got Another Thing Coming. That actually became a hit for them in 1982. Fever, another ballad. And then Devil's Child, just a great way to end a great, great album. Coming in at 3 is going to be, and I know some people rank Sin After Sin lower. I love Sin After Sin. Again, this comes after Sad Wings of Destiny. This is their 3rd record. It's my 3rd in my top ranking. It came out in April of 77. It's 40 minutes long. It's produced by Roger Glover. Simon Phillips plays drums on it. The first several albums have different drummers all the way through until you find, Les Binks is on the next record. We'll get to that. And then they settle on Dave Holland for British Steel. But Sinner, just incredible. Just a classic. This is also their major label debut. CBS picks them up, or Columbia Records. The first 2 records are not on a major label. Finally, they start getting major record support. Look at that girl here and this guy here, the Sinner. I don't know what that means. The Doorway. to Priest. This is the last album that features their old logo on it. Diamonds and Rust is a Joan Baez cover, a song that she wrote about Bob Dylan. Starbreaker's next. Maybe not as strong, but Rob's vocals are amazing. You know, again, I'm a sucker for Rob Halford's ballads. Last Rose of Summer is killer. I'm sorry, you might not like that. And I think people discredit this record because of that and the other ballad that's on here. Let Us Pray, Call for the Priest is next. Aggressive and marching, especially the Call for the Priest part. It's kind of a two-part song. Raw Deal's next. Love it. Here Comes the Tears. Oh, I want to be loved. I need to be loved. Won't somebody love me? You know, if he's screaming that as loud as you can scream it with this falsetto. I guess it's a falsetto. It's real. Listen to that song, Here Comes the Tears, sometimes. And then what really just makes this a top 3 album for me is Dissident Aggressor, one of the greatest songs they ever did. One of the greatest songs in heavy metal history, Dissident Aggressor. I got goosebumps talking about it. Coming in at number 2. And again, all these records are great. We're going to come in with British Steel from 1980. British Steel came out in April of 80. Tom Allman again, their 6th record. Dave Holland, his first album on drums. Replacing Les Binks. Great name, Les Binks, right? Breaking the Law. I don't necessarily need to hear that again. I've heard it so many times. Rapid Fire is one of my favorite Judas Priest songs of all time. The vocals, the way that he spits those vocals out. There's 5 lines that he just da-da-da-da-da-da-da, is so good. Metal Gods. I love Metal Gods. I'm not crazy about the chorus. Metal Gods. Not crazy about... Then you have Grinder. I really like that. Maybe the weakest link on this album is United. It's kind of this anthemic thing. United, we stand. I don't know. Flip the album over, and you got Living After Midnight, their first commercial hit, really, right? Unbelievable. You Don't Have to Be Old to Be Wise is next. It's an awesome song. And then the last 2 songs, The Rage. And again, we're going to be ranking my top 15 Judas Priest songs. The Rage is going to be on there. Spoiler alert, it's one of my favorite Judas Priest songs. The energy, the anger, the real energy and anger. And then Steeler. Yes, such a cool song. British Steel is my 2nd favorite Judas Priest album, which only leaves one album. And of course, it is Stained Class. 1976. Dennis Mackey and James Guthrie produce it. Actually, it came out in 78, didn't it? 78, because Sad Wings comes out in 76. Exciter, just an amazing opener. This is their 4th record. White Heat, Red Hot's incredible. Better by You, Better Than Me is a Spooky Tooth cover. Then you got the title track, Stained Class, Invaders, Saints in Hell. I mean, just a favorite Judas Priest song of mine. I mean, it's as heavy as up to that point as music had been. I think it's heavier than anything that Sabbath did. Man, hopefully somebody's watching this enough to know whether there's heavier stuff than that. Beyond the Realms of Death is a ballad. It's so haunting and so amazing. And then Hero's End, Exciter, Saints in Hell, Savage, Beyond the Realms of Death, Invaders, Stained Class, Better by You, Better Than Me, White Heat, Red Hot. This is my favorite Judas Priest album. It's called Stained Class. Check out my channel. I really enjoyed going through these records. It's taken me some time to really think about it. Make sure you check out Unleashed in the East, their 1979 live album. Check out my channel. Subscribe if you like this content. Peace out. Catch you later. See ya.